So hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So it's official, the Amiga collection that's coming to Evercade is going to be from Team 17. So not a massive surprise to us. If you follow this channel, you'll know that I probably guessed that about a month ago on the channel. It's fairly obvious that this was the most likely collection that we were going to get. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to have a look at the games that are included in the collection and play every single one of them and give you my opinion on what they are like. Without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay guys, so Team 17, if you're not aware then some of these games are on the A500 Mini, so it wasn't a total surprise that we're getting some of them, and that's the official trailer. It's there if you want to sort of go and have a look at it. I'll leave the link in the description. It's very brief, just goes through the games as usual in a few seconds. So here's the 10 games, starting off with Full Contact, which was Team 17's first Amiga game. Way back in the day, whenever that was, probably late 80s, early 90s. Then we're moving on to Alien Breed Special Edition. So this is the first game that was released as the Alien Breed series, I believe. Obviously it's the Special Edition, so probably not the first Alien Breed game, if you get what I mean. And the next game is Body Blows. Now, even though that's a picture of a wrestling sort of game, it's not a wrestling game, so don't get confused. That's just the setting and that's in. It's really just a one-on-one sort of fighting game, which is a little bit different to Full Contact. Full Contact is more like a sort of international karate style game in that sense, and it's a lot more, it's quicker basically than Body Blows, is a lot slower. So we've got Project X Special Edition, which is a really good high quality side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Not really my favourite type of game, but I actually do like this one. Spoiler alert. Now we move down to Qwak, and I absolutely love Qwak. It's kind of like a sort of puzzle platformer, collect 'em up kind of thing, and it's really good. I absolutely love that. That was definitely one of my most favourite finds from the Team 17 stuff on the A500 Mini. Now, I didn't have an Amiga growing up. I was more C64, but I've certainly played lots of Amiga over the years, even back in the day at my friend's house playing Amiga games, which was always great fun. I was always jealous, to be honest. Anyway, moving on, Alien Breed 2, The Horror Continues, the second entry into the Alien Breed series, which is another great one. Arcade Pool. Now this one certainly is interesting because it primarily uses the mouse on the A500 Mini, and I think in the original Amiga you needed the mouse as well. So interesting to see how that's going to translate to D-pad. It's a great game too, but will it translate well to a D-pad? We'll find out soon enough. Alien Breed Tower Assault is the third entry in the Alien Breed series. Another high-class sort of top-down shoot-'em-up type of thing. Obviously, it's very heavily based on the Alien films, so to speak. Now we've got All Terrain Racing, ATR for short. Team 17, sort of a super off-road style, sort of top-down racing game, which is really addictive but really tough. And then a kind of surprise entry, I think, at the end here, which always throws up a bit of an eyebrow. I think you think Kingpin Arcade Sports Series Bowling. Yeah, it's actually alright to play, but I just think it's not one that you would probably spring to mind if you're thinking Team 17 games. So a kind of a surprise mix, I guess, just to add a little bit of variety to the collection. Anyway guys, that's the games. I think there's about maybe half of them are on the A500 Mini, but even though if you've got an A500 Mini, you can't take that on the bus with you and play it on the bus unless you take a TV with you and somehow you connect up. Anyway, whatever. This is all about for me. I love playing games handheld, especially Amiga, so you can play this on your EXP, the original handheld, as long as it's upgraded, I guess, which firmware update should be coming very soon for both the original handheld and the EXP at the time of this video. Anyway, without further ado, let's get playing these games and I'll give you my opinion as we go on how these games rate and how decent this car is overall. Let's get started playing.
How cool is the opening sequence to this game? Absolutely fantastic, really love it. This is Full Contact, and this is Team 17's actual first game that they made on the Amiga. But yeah, before we actually get started, just want to sort of clarify that these games are not running on original Evercade hardware at present. I don't have that in my facility. These games are playing on the Steam Deck, funny enough, and I've just really captured footage from that. You can play them on any device really. A500 Mini would probably be a good alternative, but I found that the Steam Deck Amiga emulation is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, just getting that out of the way before anyone asks the question. But yeah, this is the first game, Full Contact, which is a kind of a one-on-one fighting game, much like International Karate or IK Plus, if you remember the games. It kind of plays a little bit like that, although it's much faster. And obviously there's no coincidence here that the character that you're sort of facing against looks a lot like the character Tong Po from Kickboxer, which obviously takes me back a bit. But yeah, it's kind of a basic. The moves sort of differ depending which way you press the sort of D-pad. Obviously like down, up, diagonally down sort of gives different moves when you press the fire button. It's kind of tricky. I definitely found it was a little bit of a button mashing at times rather than being strategic with it, but yeah, I kind of got to the point where I felt the only way of beating some of these characters was just being a bit repetitive on some of the buttons. But I guess depending on which character that you play, you'll probably need a different strategy to defeat them. But I quite enjoyed it. It's not amazing. It might come into its own, I guess, if you're playing a two-player game, but it's a decent enough start and it's a good enough game, but I don't think it'll blow anyone's socks off, so to speak. But it's a good start. It's a decent enough fighter, and I guess it's something that we welcome on Evercade. We definitely need more fighters in the form of IK Plus until we actually get it. Maybe on a System 3 collection, please. Okay guys, here the first of the Alien Breed games on the collection, and probably need to sort of comment here that yeah, we've got 3 Alien Breed games on the collection. Do we need all 3? And I'm not going to complain because I think they're all really excellent games and it's very welcome. I'm actually quite surprised we're getting more than one. I definitely expected maybe Alien Breed, the one we're playing just now, the special edition, and Alien Breed 3D. So the fact we've got all the sort of top-down Alien Breed games instead is very welcome. I'm absolutely chuffed with that. They're all really good top-drawer games. They're all kind of similar, I guess. They're all top sort of down shooter type things, but they're great fun. They are quite difficult though. I mean, I've probably not made the greatest progress through any of the games at all. This is probably the one I've played the most, and maybe only got to like a few levels in and got really stuck. They are quite tricky. It does get really hard. You sort of run out of keys, and you run out of ammo, you run out of health, for example. So this is probably where playing these on the Evercade with save states is going to be absolutely amazing. Actually being able to play these games on the go on your Evercade is going to be fantastic and a really good experience. So I kind of just hope, fingers crossed, that the Evercade emulation of these pretty much matches what you see here, or matches what you see on the A500 Mini, for example. The fact that it's the same license that is on the A500 Mini, the game should probably play very, very similar, I would guess and hope. But these games are brilliant, but I think the games were kind of designed at the end of the day to be played on a joystick. So sometimes maybe trying to take out some of these aliens and some of the diagonals can be a little bit tricky. So hopefully the D-pad on the Evercade hopefully holds up well enough, because sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating trying to get precise shooting on some of the aliens that sort of jump in front of you. But yeah, this is a great game. The aliens do tend to just appear anywhere and everywhere. There's no point in trying to clear the level because they just reappear again. So it's all about really trying to collect your keys, collect ammo, and then try and find the exit or whatever the point is of each level, like destroying something or just a time sort of level, trying to get to the exit quickly. But yeah, I've definitely played this level loads of times, and quite often I've actually got stumped because I've run out of keys and I can't make any further progress. So keep that in mind. There's actually a strict way of playing the level. You could easily play this level and actually make no progress at all because you've done it the wrong way and used the keys in the wrong doors, for example. So it's something, I guess, to learn through time, and the levels aren't huge, so to speak, but they're good fun. It's a really good fun game. It gets very hard, but at the end of the day, we've got Alien Breed on the Amiga collection coming soon. That is absolutely mind-blowing and brilliant. This game has been on a lot of formats over the years, but yeah, can't wait. This is brilliant. I'm looking forward to playing the actual Evercade version when it comes.
Player 1 required first aid. Player 1 requires first aid.
Okay, moving on to Body Blows, the other sort of beat 'em up on the collection. Now, just to clarify again, it's not a wrestling game. Absolutely not a wrestling game. It's a beat 'em up game. I suppose wrestling is a form of beat 'em up, so to speak, but it's not strictly your wrestling game. This is just a wrestling setting, or one of the available settings. There's a few different characters you can go as well. It's a bit like Full Contact in the way that there's obviously kind of a limited move. You need to do the same sort of press the button in different directions on your D-pad to get the different moves. But I was kind of getting a bit frustrated with it. It definitely moves a lot slower. Didn't really feel massively in control of the characters. It was a bit of a button bash and I got a little bit frustrated, but it's not terrible. It's fun enough to play. I think it will certainly come into its own, again, playing maybe 2-player games against a friend or a friend of the family or a member of the family, whatever, but it's alright. It looks really nice, it's decent enough. Probably wouldn't be my choice of games to add to the device, but it's certainly welcome enough. It's not a terrible game. It's just probably not one I'm going to come back to play time and time again. For me, I think the games I'm going to come back to in this collection are definitely the Alien Breed games, for sure. But it's fun enough for a quick bash.
Fight!
Number one. Number one. Special technique.
Okay, so on to Project X, which is a fantastic shoot 'em up. It looks absolutely brilliant, really high quality. It sort of reminds me of some kind of Flash game that you'd play on a PC, so to speak. But wow, looks great, plays fantastic. Now you can just hold down the fire button and it'll auto fire, which makes it a heck of a lot easier for me. I can really just try and concentrate, avoid all the sort of missiles and enemies that are happening on the screen. However, I always seem to find them anyway, but it's really good fun. It is quite difficult, and you can see around the bottom of the screen there are various sort of upgrades that you can press the button, or the other button, I think it's the B button I was pressing, and it sort of upgrades speed, different guns and so forth, as you can see at the bottom there. But wow, it's fantastic. I'm not very good at it, to be fair, but I really enjoyed it, and it's an excellent game. I think this is definitely one of those favourites from back in the day on Amiga. Brilliant stuff.
Select now for speed up. Speed up. Speed up. Destroy waves or power ups. speed up.
Destroy waves for power-ups.
Select now for guns. Power up.
Collect credits for bonus weapons.
Build up. Guns. Power up. Select now for speed up.
Okay, changing things up a little bit, we've got Qwak now, which is a single screen sort of collect 'em up style game where you play this duck and you collect all the things, like all the fruit you see on the screen, get the key, get to the exit type of thing. It's really amazing stuff. I absolutely love this game and I don't really know why. I think it's just got that kind of addictive quality to it, and it's very simple to pick up, so anyone can just quickly pick it up and just, I think it's press up to jump and press one of the fire buttons to shoot your weapon, which seems to be an egg, I think, and the character looks an awful lot like Orville, one of the hand puppets from back in the 80s, 90s that was a thing in the UK. But yeah, absolutely love this game. It was one of those games that I discovered on the A500 Mini and absolutely loved it then. And maybe might even be my most favourite game that's on this collection. Maybe apart from Alien Breed, I guess. But it's brilliant. I really love it. It does get a little bit tricky. There's some bonus levels as well. And there's quite a lot going on the screen. But it's good. It's so easy, so simple. Great graphics, great sound, great music. Absolutely love it, and I'm absolutely chuffed that this is one of the games they chose to come on the Evercade and the Team 17 collection. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Okay, moving on to the second Alien Breed game, which for me just suddenly gets a whole lot tougher. It certainly lands you right into the middle of things, and they've got these automated helicopters right at this first level here that you kind of need to avoid or you will die instantly, as you see here, which is kind of a frustrating. So at the start here you really just need to collect all the stuff and try and find the the entrance to the sort of facility that you're trying to sort of get to. Really frustrating start, but once you figure it out, it's pretty much more of the same, but a little bit harder. I've not played this game in any massive depth, but it does look like the graphics are maybe just slightly better, maybe a little bit larger, and there's a lot more going on, I guess, on the screen. Basically, as it says in the title, the horror continues. But I've not played this one in any depth, but it is pretty much more the same, and I'm actually looking forward to when it comes in the Evercade to get more in-depth play and utilise those save states to try and make a little bit further progress than you see here. But yeah, I'm really gutted never got to play this back in the day, and I guess that's what the Evercade is all about, is maybe recapturing those games that you loved and maybe discovering games that you wished you could have played and you can now, which is absolutely brilliant for me. I'm looking forward to this one.
Player 1 requires first aid. Player 1 requires first aid. Player 1 has been eliminated.
Okay, arcade pool. Now on the menu here you can choose a different variety of game styles, such as UK style, US style for example, but it's pretty much more the same. All the game physics are all exactly the same. It's a game of pool, one way or the other. Now the interesting thing about this game is that this game utilised the mouse, and it was on the A500 Mini collection as well, which you obviously had a mouse, and as we know on Evercade there is no mouse function available, and you can't even use another one that's available to you because they will not work. Now whether this means what we're going to get a mouse, I probably doubt it. They're going to just remap the controls to the D-pad. It's probably simple enough to do, but will this make the game less playable than using a mouse? I don't know. I hope they sort it, because it's a really, really good game. The ball physics are absolutely fantastic. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. I certainly struggled my way through this sort of sneak peek gameplay, but I still enjoyed it, and it's really good fun. We don't really have a lot of sort of snooker pool games on Evercade. I think there is only one other on the Data East collection, which is the Pocket Gal game, I think, which is really good, but I think this is actually better than that game. So it's very welcome. I'm just very intrigued to how this is going to work on Evercade utilising D-pad. But yeah, hopefully they sort it out and we've got an absolutely cracking game on our hands. Okay, it's the third game in the Alien Breed series on this collection as well, and you can see we've crash landed again, and we basically need to escape this minefield that we've landed in and try and get to one of the facilities again. Yeah, it's pretty much more of the same stuff, but I think it definitely feels a little bit more involved. The graphics are sort of being pushed up again, and there's a lot more happening on the screen. Especially when you get to the facilities, you see the aliens are running absolute riot, and they're sort of basically eating everybody that's there. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I think this might be the best game on the collection regarding the Alien Breed games. They all do play pretty similar, to be fair, but I think maybe arguably this could be the best one. I've not played it in full yet, so it's probably a bit of an early impression that I've sort of got that feeling that this probably is the best one that's on the collection. If I recall, I certainly think this is one of the ones that a lot of people think is the best one. If I recall, at the time on the A500 Mini, people were sort of asking for this game rather than Special Edition 92. But yeah, this one also has some maps as well, which kind of helps a little bit. I can't remember if the other games did have a map, but it definitely helps get your whereabouts, because some of the levels are pretty large. But yeah, altogether, absolutely fantastic series, and we are really wasted the fact that we've got 3 games from the Alien Breed series on Evercade. I honestly only expected 1 or 2, and the fact that we've got 3 of these games and a whole load of other games on the collection is fantastic. I think I would have probably quite happily just had an Alien Breed cart itself. Anyway, absolutely fantastic. They are on Evercade, coming soon.
Smart card message follows. Smart card message follows. Smart card message follows. Smart card message follows. Jordan, warning, energy low. Jordan, warning, energy low. Jordan, warning, energy low. Assault failed.
Okay, on to ATR or all-terrain racing. You've got a choice of 3 different locations, and yeah, you've got a choice of vehicles as well. And it tells you at the bottom here what the best sort of a car to pick is for that sort of location. And you can also upgrade each of the cars as well with the funds that you've got here. And just a word of warning, this game is hard as nails. It's one of those games that you'll definitely have to practice and memorise the layout of the sort of tracks till you get decent enough at them, because I think trying to be good right off the bat, not a chance. It is really, really tough. And yeah, if you thought my gameplay was bad up to this point, it really gets a heck of a lot worse. I definitely struggle with this game. It's really good fun to play, but I really can't get anywhere. I think it's one of the games I'm going to have to keep trying until you actually get an improvement and make some progress through this sort of game. It reminds me very much of the Super Off-Road games, maybe even a little bit like Supercars, which is also an Amiga game, which maybe comes soon on a Gremlin collection, who knows. But I guess the other game that it reminds me of is Super Skid Marks, which is on the Codemaster collection, and that game itself is really tough as well. We really needed the Amiga version of that, to be honest. It's much better, but it's still good fun. It just is one of those games you're going to have a bit of patience to get anywhere and memorise those tracks and layouts and sort of be a bit quicker trying to turn round the corner and take your finger off the accelerator button to try and make it round those bends. It's really tough, and yeah, apologies, I absolutely suck at this game. Okay, last game on the collection is Kingpin Arcade Sports Series Bowling. That is an absolute nightmare to say that. But yeah, so it's basically 10-pin bowling on the Evercade. Not the first 10-pin bowling game, funny enough. I guess Evercade definitely like to give us a little bit of variety with these oddity games that you really don't need on a sort of handheld retro system. But nonetheless, here we go, we've got it. Various different modes you can choose from. And it's a decent enough attempt at a 10-pin bowling game. You can press up and down on the D-pad to sort of change the power that you're going to chuck the ball down at, and you can also change the size or the weight of the ball that you want to use by pressing all the way down and sort of cycling through them. But depending on the strength that you choose, it obviously varies in how fast the cursor is moving across the screen there, and to actually hit this in the middle is extremely difficult. And I actually found the best way of doing that was shutting my eyes and pressing the button at any particular random moment, and it seemed to work a heck of a lot better for me. But that's just me. I guess everyone's going to be different. I just struggled to sort of hit the mark every single time. And I've obviously sped this video up a little bit because it's pretty slow going. You can see I really struggled anyway trying to get some strikes or even some spears in the game. But yeah, it's not a bad game at all. It's just not amazing. It's not one of these games that I would have expected on the collection, and not one I would have asked for either. But it's not bad at the end of the day. Probably the poorest game on the collection, but that's been a bit harsh on it, I guess. Anyway, overall, I think it's a really good collection. It could arguably be one of the best collections on the Evercade yet. It's certainly going to be up there, especially those Alien Breed games are absolutely fantastic. We've got a pool game. Hopefully we get the controls to our liking, and I'll absolutely love Qwak as well. There's a good bit of variety to it. Even though we've got 3 Alien Breed games that are absolutely the same, it's still absolutely high quality, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits that this is the start of Amiga on Evercade. Obviously we have to mention the fact that we've not got Alien Breed 3D, we didn't get Super Frog, and maybe a few other games that we might have expected. Maybe we'll get a Team 17 collection too. I didn't really think we would have, but going by the fact we're missing some high quality games there, maybe that will happen in the future. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, catch you in the next one.